How can I best help and support my spouse who deals with pornography addiction?
That's a wonderful question too. Boy, these questions are fabulous. I appreciate all of you submitting these. Um, how can you best support your spouse? I think one of the things that a spouse of someone who is recovering from addiction can be very, very helpful in doing is to simply be willing to be there for that person. Um, as I mentioned earlier tonight, shame is one of the greatest challenges associated with an addiction. Um, it perpetuates an addiction. It keeps it alive. It keeps it going. It keeps it hidden. It creates a lack of safety in terms of being able to share. One would feel a lack of safety in being able to share the realities of their addictive behavior with others, especially a spouse. So even though a spouse will be, someone who is generally the closest person to us and has bonded with us tremendously in many ways, the shame would keep us from sharing that simply because a person recovering from addiction is going to feel unsafe in sharing and like they're not going to be accepted. And so I think it's very, very important for a spouse to understand the nature of addiction and to understand that being there for that person, creating that sense of acceptance. For example, a thought for a spouse of a recovering person could be something like this. I may not be experiencing it, but I can be there for that person. I can I can accept that person for who they are and love them and be there for them. Now, I think the other part of the question here that needs to be said is that a spouse is going through their own healing process too, and that's a very important factor to keep in mind. Uh, so a wife of a recovering addict, the husband, or vice versa, would need to understand that they have their own process to go through. They're going to feel some very difficult emotions and some very difficult challenges themselves. So to know that they will be experiencing some of their own emotional challenges and have emotional needs is also very important for being there for each other. So the idea of being there for each other is very important in that recovery process.
One of the things I wanted to stay with that is we have a lot of people that are dealing with this, and you're not alone. And it's important for you're doing the steps to support your husband or your spouse, is to know that is the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, then you are armed with the tools that can better help. It's the lack of knowledge and the desire to just kind of bury your head in the sand is where the greatest danger is in place. But I want to be careful that you also need healing. This is something that we are fully aware of, that there's a healing process that each spouse has to go through in this. And so to look for those healing opportunities as well, being able to share, use our contact form through pornstinks.com. Use that to reach out and just, even if it's just to dump and just to get it out so that you have somebody to talk to. We're here to help.
Yeah.